The Chicago Bears just received a huge gift from the NFL. The question is, what's the gift, right? Over the first 10 games, no one has a softer or easier schedule than the Chicago Bears. And the tough part of the season is backloaded with all the division matchups happening then. I think the NFL is looking at stacking more of these divisional matchups at the end of the season to try to get more viewers. But anyways, with that being said, it's important that Coach Flus gets his wins at the outset. And I'm going to go over these first 10 games and show you why there is reason for excitement. This is incredibly good news here. And I'm going to go to bearswire.com just to give you a visual. I mean, they come up with the same end record as I do. I'm just looking at it a little differently, some different games. So let's check it out. So, Caleb Williams, he has 1 week to prepare for the big spotlight against Houston in week 2 and a home debut at Soldier Field against the Tennessee Titans. That should be just absolutely perfect to start the season. And guess what? We're not opening against the Packers anymore. Let's give this team some time to gel first. So some good things. Derrick Henry, he's now in Baltimore. Brand new coach after firing Mike Vrabel, and much of the roster is new. Oh, and they're coming off a 6-11 season. This is a team in absolute flux with a quarterback in Will Levis that only got a few starts last year in his rookie season. Additions are kind of nice. They got some nice talent in Calvin Ridley, number one, opposite of D-Hop, Tyler Boyd, L'Jarius Sneed. He was a huge get from the Chiefs, but there's more good here. The Bears look to be just a better team, and we expect to win this. Sure, we have to gel a little bit. So does Tennessee. Besides a good defensive line, I'm not too worried about this one. And the Bears start out at 1-0. So now week 2, we put on our big boy pants. We head to Houston for Sunday Night Football. This Texans team was the Cinderella of last year, and now they just have the talent to threaten the Chiefs for the AFC. Everyone knows CJ Stroud balled out last year. I hope our drafting of Caleb, that erases misgivings about passing on Stroud last year. Let's wait and see. But the biggest addition is Stephon Diggs to the Texans at receiver from Buffalo. So they already added Danielle Hunter at defensive end. And this is just a balanced team with good coaching. The good is that the Texans are known to start out seasons quite slow, and we have the defense to absolutely give them problems, especially in the secondary, right? We've got the 2 best receiving trios in the league. It should be high scoring, but in the end, I'm not sure Chicago's quite up to the task. They dropped this one to go 1-1. The defensive line is going to get after Caleb Williams a bit here too. This will be a great benchmark, great test for him, a measurement of how he responds to pressure-based defense. So now we stay on the road. This is a good game. We go to Indianapolis. The Colts were 9-8, but we haven't seen enough of Anthony Richardson with the injury. He's basically in an extension of his rookie season. So the good. You aren't looking at a quarterback with really any more experience than Caleb, right? In fact, Caleb's experience in college, I'd say that makes his preparation, in my opinion, way more robust. And I think the Bears defense with our superior secondary, it's going to confuse Richardson a bit, cause some turnovers as he plays gunslinger. And although they're on the rise, I think their secondary won't be able to hang with our receivers. And the Bears win this, moving to 2-1. Bears Wire agrees with me here. So now we take back to Soldier Field and we go up against the LA Rams. And here we go. Since 2018, we've played the Rams 5 times, so we know each other quite well. We have a long history of playing against Matt Stafford, obviously, and the Rams, they went from awful to a playoff run last year led by Stafford. They had like a quietly really good offense last year. So the good from our perspective, no more Aaron Donald, no more him helming up this pass rush. Their secondary isn't really fantastic either. They haven't really played together much with lots of tinkering over the last couple of years, lots of free agent patchwork going on here. I think the Bears should be able to keep Caleb's jersey clean. I think they'll be able to take advantage of this Rams secondary. And I kind of think this is a pick 'em. And in the spirit of being conservative, let's say we get edged out here. Let's say we get edged out. Let's say we go to 2-2. So now I think we have a series of games that we have a streak possible here. It's really very possible, and it starts with Carolina at Soldier Field. I mean, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. The only way that this game is interesting is due to the storylines involved, right? Essentially, not being interested in Bryce Young, the huge draft capital from the trade. In the end, we'll win this going away and move to 3-2. So now we move forward at 3-2. It's technically a home game against the Jacksonville Jaguars in London. I mean, we have Caleb Williams. He's been labeled the first consensus generational quarterback talent in the draft since when Trevor Lawrence was labeled the same, right? Now we get to see them play each other, and it's going to be fun. I mean, looking at the Jaguars, I'm not really super impressed by them. They were favorites to win the division last year, but they absolutely nosedived to miss the playoffs. Super inconsistent from week to week. And now they lost their number one receiver in Calvin Ridley to free agency. I mean, the receivers, they're not impressive. I think this is kind of a pick'em game as well, 50-50 chance. So since I gave the last toss-up game to the Rams, right, I think this is where our offense really hits its stride. And the Bears, they come back home winners to go to. Brace yourselves, 4-2. And you guys might think this is really optimistic. All of you with Bears PTSD might be like, come on, man. But I want to be objective here. I want to look at this team, what we have, what we did last year. If it was anybody but the Bears and we could look at this objectively as fans, I think we'd agree 4-2 is a very reasonable spot here. So now we get the bye week, and then we get to go to FedEx Field to face the Commanders. I mean, a battle between the number 1 and number 2 picks in the draft. And as we went through draft prep, many of you thought on this channel and all over, many of you thought that Daniels was a better choice at quarterback in the draft. Well, now let's watch it play out. I'm going to say this for the next 3 games. The Bears are way better on paper. Every single category, they're better on paper in this matchup. I mean, the Commanders gutted their defense last year. Super thankful for Montez Sweat. Thank you, guys. Their defensive line, not intimidating at all. The Bears receivers, they should pick this secondary apart as Caleb has plenty of time to throw. Unbelievable to many, unbelievable to me, but I think this is going to happen. The Bears are now sitting pretty at 5-2. So now we move on. The Bears stay on the road. Now we got the Cardinals. This is a team that we just crushed towards the end of the season last year. I mean, Stevenson, he had one of the best games in his short career in his rookie season. And once again, better on paper across the board. The Bears have completed a rebuild. Arizona, they're kind of in that spot that it's not a total teardown, but it's just not a great roster yet, just kind of in limbo. It'll be exciting to watch MHJ, but outside of that, where are the weapons for the Cardinals? I mean, Hollywood Brown, he's now in Kansas City. So now I'm changing tune here. Now I'm saying the Bears are Cinderellas this year. They are going to continue this Cinderella season. And they're going to go 6-2. The best comparison is what Detroit did last season. Their resurgence, very similar blueprints, very similar timelines, very similar team builds. And we now get to just have some fun here for a change. We finish up this show against the New England Patriots. And let me get there. Here we go. The New England Patriots. Let's see. What do you think about this game? It gives me zero indication that the Patriots are going to be a hard matchup. This is after the outdated team build and offensive philosophy of Belichick before he left. And what's interesting to see is if Gerard Mayo, if he's going to simply keep doing things, quote unquote, the Patriot way, or if he's going to put his own stamp on bringing this team back to competitiveness. Their defense is pretty good, but Drake May and this offense, they're really bereft of weapons. It's just not scary at all. The Bears defense will make it tough for New England to move the ball at all. And unbelievably, I am saying the Bears are sitting here at 7-2. If you give that game a toss-up game, we're talking 6-3 at the worst. So let's check out how we get to at least 10 wins. Yes, that's right. I believe that we get 10 wins, and I'm not the only one. This is my prediction. We can't claim to even split with the Packers until we prove it. So let's say we lose twice to the Packers. I mean, we have to. We haven't proven that we can beat the Packers yet. So let's be conservative. I believe it's more than reasonable. I believe we can sweep the Vikings. I think we can at least split with the Lions. I mean, we beat them 7 quarters last year, right? Those games bring the Bears to 9-5, finishing the season highlighting a loss to the 49ers in week 14, a late season win against the Seahawks. Look at how other things lay. And I definitely think we're looking at a 10-7 season and a playoff berth. What a difference a couple years make under great management. If you would have told us that we would have the team that we have now when we started the teardown, when we dumped any veteran that had any salary at all on this team, when we got rid of so many popular guys, we are no longer sentimental. GM Ryan Poles, he has built this team from the ground up. We kept our head coach. We did all of these things that I think were right decisions. And now we're sitting here and we are contenders, I think, coming into the season. You guys let me know what you think. Try to lighten up a little bit. Let's have fun with this offseason. Let's just not be negative Nancy's. That's ridiculous. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. I appreciate you guys watching. Bear down. This is still going to be a great off season and even better season. Talk soon, you guys, and see ya.